Welcome students, myself Gazala Chaulkar. Today we are going to continue chapter number 9 Agriculture module 2. In this module we are going to learn about farming. Farming is a part of agriculture. Farming is growing of crops or keeping animals by people for food and raw materials. So students, let's have a quick recap of module 1. We learned agriculture in module 1. So agriculture is the science and art of cultivating plants and livestock. It was the key development in the rise of human civilization. We also studied different occupations that come under the scope of agriculture. We use the products of these occupations in our everyday life. These traditional occupations are called as allied activities in agriculture. The first one was animal husbandry. It is the branch of agriculture which is concerned with animals that are raised for meat, fiber, milk, eggs and other products. And also care of farm animals which as cattle, dogs, sheep, horses, etc. Sheep and goat rearing. It is a traditional occupation that is generally carried out in hilly tracts and semi-arid regions with dry climate. Sheep and goats survive on short grasses, shrubs, which grow in remote hilly rural areas which are away from urban settlements. Next one, dairy farming, which involves production of milk from domestic animals. Milk can be used for producing dairy products including cheese, butter, ghee, etc. Poultry farming, which is the form of animal husbandry which raises domesticated birds such as chicken, ducks, turkeys and geese, which is used to produce meat or eggs for food. Beekeeping. Beekeeping farming involves the care and management of honeybees for the production of honey and wax. Pisciculture, that is fish farming. Breeding of fishes on a large scale for the production of fishes to sell in the market is pisciculture, or breeding, rearing or transplantation of fish by artificial method is called pisciculture. Sericulture is a process of cultivation silkworms and extracting silk from them. The caterpillars of the domestic silk moth are the most commonly used silk worm species in sericulture. Nursery. Nursery is a place where young trees or other plants are raised for transplanting or for sale or for experimental study. The last one is greenhouse farming, which is a unique type of a farm practice of growing crops within a sheltered structure covered by a transparent material. The main purpose of greenhouse farming is to produce favorable growing conditions and to protect crops from the unfavorable climate, weather, or various pests. So students, let us discuss our learning objectives for today. So today we are going to learn about farming. Farming is a part of agriculture. Farming is growing crops or keeping animals by people for food and raw materials. So there are two types of farming, that is subsistence farming and commercial farming. And then we are going to learn about organic farming, then agrotourism and agricultural marketing system. So students, different types of agriculture have evolved due to the geographical and cultural diversity and technological differences in different regions. The type of farming depends upon the purpose and aims of methods and farming, the crops being cultivated, techniques used, land use, etc. Broadly, the following types of agriculture can be identified. So students, we can see here types of farming is been further subdivided into two types of farming, that is subsistence farming and commercial farming. Then subsistence farming is further subdivided into two parts, that is intensive farming and shifting farming or shifting cultivation. Commercial farming is then subdivided into other four categories, that is extensive green farming, plantation farming, market gardening, horticulture or floriculture. So students, the first type is the subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is a form of farming in which nearly all of the crops or livestock raised, used or maintained by the farmers and the farmer family. Or in other words, subsistence agriculture occurs when farmers grow food crops to meet the needs of themselves and their families on small holdings. Students, intensive and shifting cultivation are the two types in traditional farming. So let us see this in detail. Intensive farming. So students, intensive farming is the subtype of subsistence farming. Intensive farming or intensive agriculture is carried out in one and the same farmland for years together. Crops are grown on small farmlands with the help of animals and human resource. Getting maximum production from a minimum area is the important characteristics of intensive farming. Due to large population or limited availability of land, per head holding is small. This type of farming is mostly seen in developing regions. Farm production is sufficient only for the requirement of the family. In this type of farming, the cultivator and his family are totally dependent on farming. As farm production is low, the economic condition of the cultivator is also poor. In this type of farming, mostly animate energy is used. Besides these, cereals, vegetables are also grown to some extent. Shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is a primitive type of cultivation. This type of cultivation is practiced in the tropics in densely forested areas or hilly tracts. The farmer initially selects a piece of land in the forest in order to make it cultivable. He clears the land by cutting down the trees, plants, removing the shrubs and grass. Once the cut trees dry out, he burns them. The leftover ash gets mixed in the soil and acts as a manure. Students, you can see in this given picture over here. The leftover ash gets mixed in the soil and acts as a manure. Sowing and harvesting is done before the rainy season. The production obtained from this is not sufficient to fulfill the food requirement. Hence, people undertake hunting, fishing, gathering of bulbs and roots from forest. In this type of farming, the fallow period is longer than the crop period. After the productivity of the land depletes in 2 or 3 years, a different piece of land is selected for cultivation. Now students, let us understand the second subtype of farming, that is commercial farming. Farming for a profit, where food is produced by advanced technological means for sale in the market. So commercial farming is all about growing of crops or rearing of animals for raw materials, food or export. This is done particularly for profitable reason. So students, the first subtype of commercial farming is extensive grain farming. Extensive grain farming is carried out in the temperate grassland regions. Farm size is greater than 200 hectares. Due to large farm size and sparse population in the region, this type of farming is carried out with the help of machines like tractors and crushers. Pesticides are sprayed with the help of helicopters or planes. Monocrop, that is, a single crop cultivation, is the striking characteristics of this type of farming. The crops are wheat or corn. Beside this, barley, oats, soya bean are also cultivated to some extent. Heavy capital investment is very necessary for this type of farming, since huge expenditures are needed for the purchase of machinery, fertilizers, pesticides, godowns, transport cost, etc. The problems in extensive grain farming are droughts or attack by pest, locust, etc. and market fluctuations. Next one, plantation farming. Plantation farming is a form of commercial farming where crops are grown for the purpose of making profits. Farm size in plantation agriculture is 40 hectares or above, as plantation agriculture is practiced in hilly tracts. Use of machines is not possible, hence, local manpower becomes important. The crops for which the geographical conditions are favorable is planted. This is a single crop cultivation practice too. This type of agriculture does not produce food grains. Only commercial crops like tea, rubber, coffee, coconut, cocoa, spices, etc. are mainly planted. This type of farming began and spread mostly during the colonial period. It is practiced in tropics. This type of farming requires large-scale capital investment due to the long duration of crops, use of scientific methods, exportable production, processing, etc. Climate, manpower, deterioration of environment, economic and managerial problems are the major issues which are faced by this type of agriculture. This type of agriculture is practiced in India and also other South Asian countries. The third main subtype of commercial farming is market gardening. So, a market garden is also called as a micro farm. It is a small plot of land, that is a very small farm, where fruits, vegetables, flowers are grown and sold to the public. The crops are cash crops, that is grown for profit. Market gardening is a type of cultivation which is developed in modern times. This has developed mainly as a result of urbanization and the ready markets available in urban centers. Farmers cultivate vegetables and other items in the vicinity of urban centers to cater the demands of city dwellers. This type of cultivation works on a principle of economics, demand and supply. The small holding is small, use of irrigation, organic and chemical fertilizers, low investment, use of manpower, demand of markets, use of science and technology, etc. are the important characteristics of market gardening. It is dependent on good transport network. The quality and price of the product is determined by rapid transport. Hence, this type of farming is also known as truck farming. Horticulture. Now, horticulture is a science of studying garden plants. The word horticulture is derived from two Latin words, that is, hortus meaning garden and culture means knowledge of growing crops. Horticulture is the agriculture of plants mainly for food, materials, comfort and beauty for decoration. Horticulturists apply knowledge, skills and technologies to grow intensively produced plants for human food and non-food uses and for personal or social needs. In this type of farming, modern as well as traditional methods are used. The size of farm is small and every plant is cared for properly. In recent times, the use of irrigation, chemical fertilizers, greenhouses, etc. is being made for getting more profit. Floriculture. Floriculture may be defined as a branch of horticulture which deals with the culture and management of flowers and ornamental plants. Now students, what are ornamental plants? Ornamental plants are plants that are grown for decorative purpose in gardens and landscape design projects. Now floriculture is been derived from two words, that is flor means flower and culture means cultivation. Floriculture includes cultivation of flowering and ornamental plants for direct sale or for use as raw materials in cosmetic and perfume industry. India and other Asian countries has a long tradition of floriculture. They have been emerging as development centers of floriculture as they have favorable soil and climate for growing flowers. As we all know, flowers are used for many occasions. For example, festivals, wedding, pujas, funerals, parties, function, etc. Major products or major flowers grown here are lily, gerbera, tulip, dahlia, marigold, etc. And these flowers fetch a good price in the market. Orchard. An orchard is an intentional plantation of trees or shrubs that is maintained for food production. Orchards comprise fruit or nut producing trees which are generally grown for commercial production. Orchards are also sometimes a feature of large gardens where they serve an aesthetic as well as productive purpose. Different native and exotic fruits like mangoes, custard apples, grapes, bananas, pomegranates, dragon fruits, cherries, oranges, raspberries, strawberries, mulberries, etc. are cultivated in fruit farming. At places like Mahabaleshwar, Panchgani, Pune, Nagpur, Jalgaon, Nasik, etc., countries having Mediterranean climate, France and Italy are famous for orchards. So students, let us understand what is organic farming. The nutrient requirements of the crops is fulfilled by soil and therefore replenishment of used up nutrients is necessary. Nutrients are also used abundantly to increase the yield. Organic fertilizers are prepared for this purpose. So students, organic farming can be defined as the system of management and agricultural production that combines a high level of biodiversity with environmental practices that preserve natural resources. That is, organic farming is agricultural system that works in harmony with nature. When farming is done using all waste material mixed in the soil, it is called as organic farming. For example, the litter should be decomposed in the ground. Grasses like sesbania, that is a small shrub, or jute are also buried in the soil for making manures. Cow dung and compost manures are used. Vermicompost is obtained from organic waste. Other example, for controlling pest, organic pesticide like neem can be used. The crop obtained from organic farming is high in quality. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides are not used in such type of farming. Now can you tell? Observe the picture in figure 9.12 which is there in your textbook, page number 58, and briefly describe the type of agriculture shown in the picture. So students, the first image which you can see here is of horticulture. Growth of fruits. A large number of similar trees are grown on a vast area. Such land areas are called farms or orchards. For example, mango or coconut. Next one. The second image is of extensive grain agriculture or extensive agriculture. One single crop is grown on a large area. The use of manpower is less, whereas most of the farm work is done with the help of machine like tractors, harvesters, threshers, etc. Third one, the third image is of plantation farming. One single tree crop is grown on a large scale. The crop is allowed to grow for certain years, then the fruits, that is, it is grown for profit. A lot of manpower is required here and care is taken that the trees are not infested with insects or pests. For example, tea, coffee, rubber, spices, etc. Fourth one, the fourth image is of intensive agriculture. Crops are grown on a small farmlands with the help of animal and human resource. The profits earned are very low despite intensive care taken. The crops that are grown are used for home consumption or sold in the local market. So students, now let us understand what is agrotourism. Agrotourism is a new field in tourism. In the tropics, various types of agricultural products are cultivated. Hence, there is a greater scope for agrotourism. In agrarian countries, the rural life, local customs and culture are utilized for agrotourism. In this form of tourism, the most important aspect is to obtain the information about agricultural activities by actually visiting a farm. It is the first experience for most visitors, especially for youngsters. For a few decades, agrotourism has become popular in India. City dwellers are curious about farmers' life and environment. Many of them visit rural areas just to see this. Agrotourism is financially beneficial for the farmer and his village. Agrotourism specially strengthens farmer families by way of extra income through visit. Sometimes the tourists here are motivated to plow fields, to experience riding bullock cart, understand the growing, harvesting and processing of grains by farmers, and watch them perform other seasonal activities and local celebration. Agrotourism Development Corporation works for the spread of this form of tourism. By 2014, around 214 centers for agrotourism in rural settlements have been started in Maharashtra. Now students, observe the picture of some fruits and vegetables given in figure 9.14 of your textbook, page number 59. So, students, you may have realized that those fruits and vegetables that look fresh and attractive may not have been ripened using proper methods. At times, in order to get the produce earlier, artificial chemicals, pesticides are sprayed on them. These facilitate quicker production and the produce appears fresh and attractive. However, such products are harmful to health. Also, they do not last long after purchase. So students, now let us understand what is agricultural marketing system. The finished products produced by the producers have to reach markets in order to be available to the consumers, clients, partners and the entire society. All the process involved in taking the finished products from the production areas to the markets are covered under the term marketing management. Marketing is useful for generating clients, maintaining and satisfying them. The importance of marketing system in countries like India will be will become clear from the following points, that is, agriculture in India is scattered over vast areas and all the farmers are not organized. Most of the farmers are economically weak and cannot market their production on their own. So that is why the system of agricultural produce market committees is established at the taluka level. So at these places, farmers bring their produce and sell to the traders. As farm produce is perishable, there has to be a proper arrangement for its sale. Institutes like farmers' organizations, consumer society, etc. help in this task and try to protect farmers from the exploitation and by different agents, mediators, that is middlemen and others. For example, some of the farm produce is directly used by industries as raw material. International markets are now becoming easily available for farm produce due to globalization. Many progressive farmers are using the modern technology in their farms. Also, they sell their produce with proper packaging. Hotels and malls also require agricultural produce on a large scale. By advertising on the internet, their products get sold in local as well as international markets. Students, do you know what can developing countries learn from how Israel developed its world renowned agriculture? While Israel is not a natural nor seemingly sensible place for agriculture, that is, two-thirds of the land is semi-arid or arid, and much of the soil is of poor quality. But now, Israel is a major exporter of fresh farm produce. It is the most advanced country as far as agricultural technology is concerned. It has adverse climate, severe scarcity of water, and more than half its land is occupied by hot deserts. But overcoming all of these unfavorable conditions and persistently following the path of modernization of agriculture, it has taken a giant leap in the field of agriculture. So students, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned today. Today, we learn about farming. So farming is growing of crops. Farming is a part of agriculture. Farming is subdivided into two parts, that is subsistence farming and commercial farming. So what is subsistence farming, students? Subsistence farming is a type of farming in which nearly all the food crops or livestock raised, used, maintained by the farmer and the farmer's family. Subsistence farming have been classified into two subtypes, that is intensive farming or shifting cultivation. Intensive farming is carried out in one and the same farmland for years together. Crops are grown on a small farmland with the help of animals and human resource. Getting maximum production from a minimum area is the important characteristics of intensive farming. Next one is shifting cultivation. So, shifting cultivation is an agricultural system in which plot of land are cultivated temporarily or an area of a ground is cleared of vegetation and cultivated for a few years and then abandoned for a new area until its fertility has become naturally restored. Next one is commercial farming, that is the subtype of farming. So commercial farming is all about farming by advanced technological means for sale in the market. Commercial farming is all about growing of crops or rearing of animals for raw materials, food, or export, particularly for profitable reason. Commercial farming is been subdivided into four subtypes, that is extensive grain farming, plantation farming, market gardening, and horticulture or floriculture. Let us see the first one, that is extensive grain farming. Extensive grain farming is carried out with the help of machines like tractors or crushers. Monocrop, that is single crop cultivation, is the striking feature of this type of farming. Heavy capital investment is necessary for this type of farming. Next one, plantation farming or plantation agriculture is practiced in hilly tracts or on the slope of the mountains. Use of machine is not possible and hence local manpower becomes important here. This type of agriculture does not produce food grains. Only commercial crops like tea, rubber, coffee, cocoa, spices, etc. are planted. Next one is market gardening. A market garden, or also called as micro farm, is a small plot of land or a very small farm where fruits, vegetables and flowers are grown and sold to the public. The crops are cash crops, that is grown for profit. Next one, horticulture and floriculture, that is cultivation of flowers and fruits, is also a subtype of commercial farming. Horticulture involves production of fruits and floriculture involves cultivation of flowers. So what is horticulture, students? Horticulture is the science of studying garden plants. The word horticulture is derived from two Latin words, that is hortus meaning garden and culture means knowledge of growing these crops. Floriculture, on the other hand, includes cultivation of flowering and ornamental plants for direct sale or for use as raw materials in cosmetic and perfume industry. The next one is organic farming. Organic farming is a technique which involves the cultivation of plants and rearing of animals in natural ways. The process involved is the use of biological materials, avoiding synthetic substance to maintain soil fertility and ecological balance, thereby minimizing pollution and wastage. Next one is agrotourism. In this form of tourism, the most important aspect is to obtain information about agricultural activities by actually visiting a farm. People are curious about knowing how the food they consume is produced. It is the first experience for most visitors, especially for youngsters. For a few decades, agrotourism has become popular in India. Next one, agriculture marketing system. Agricultural marketing system, that is, the finished products produced by the producers have to reach market in order to be available to the consumers or clients, partners and the entire society. All the process involved in taking the finished products from the production areas to the market are covered under the term marketing management. Marketing is useful for generating clients, maintaining and satisfying them. Thank you students for listening and watching my video. I hope that you like my video. Thank you very much.